Welcome to the Fit Dad Nation podcast, forging strong fathers and raising a stronger generation. It's time to get up or shut up with your host, Steve Roy.
Hey there, guys. Steve Roy here, host of the Fit Dad Nation podcast. Welcome to the show. I do appreciate you listening. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've recorded an episode, put out an episode well over a month, and there's a reason for that. But before I get into that, if you are not part of one of our private Facebook groups, you probably should be if you're a dad and you're struggling with some aspect of your health and fitness, and you can certainly join us. Apply over at fitdadnation.com/community. So some of you that have been listening to my show for a while, 160 some odd episodes, I think, might be wondering, where the hell I've been. Long story, but essentially, I've been in a pretty bad place for quite a while. So I've shared a little bit of this over the past, and just recently I've shared some more details in our private groups, just because it's very personal stuff. Anyway, and it relates to my daughter. She's been going through a lot of stuff over actually the last couple years. She hurt her back, herniated disc a couple years ago, almost 2 years ago. Just didn't heal, went through therapy, chiropractic, cortisone shot, did a lot for her. Eventually just wouldn't heal, so we decided to have surgery, had surgery, didn't go as planned. We had some complications, and it's been kind of a mess since that was in this past summer. It was her surgery, and she should have been fine by now. Anyway, it's kind of turned into something much more where there's chronic pain now, and it's kind of all over the place, and we've gone through multiple specialists. And at this point where we've seen spine surgeons, we've seen cardiologists, we've seen pain management clinics, neurosurgeons, neurology teams, different hospitals. It's just been a lot. For her, obviously, it's really taken its toll on her physically and mentally, and in turn, taking its toll on me as her father. So watching her go through this has been really difficult, and it has not been getting better. It's been getting worse. And so we got to a point where I was just really struggling to focus on myself, my business, and so I kind of withdrew from social media, from my groups, from my business, from a lot of things, to really focus my attention on her, and just didn't want to do a whole lot of anything. And in the process, I've kind of been out of the loop here, and my health has fallen, for lack of a better term, just fallen to shit. I've just started kind of eating whatever, and this has been going on for a while, kind of eating whatever, fallen into some old bad habits, haven't been exercising very often, been very inactive on social media. And so, I've shared this with just a few people, and they've reminded me of the main principle that I teach and have taught since day one. It's been, many years since I started the Fit Dad Nation, and that's, if you can't take care of yourself first, how can you take care of your family the best way possible? And that's absolutely true. I just unfortunately have not been living by that. So, in essence, not practicing what I preach. I'm guilty. I'll take responsibility for just not doing that. And obviously it's easier said than done. It's easy to teach that, but when something as heavy as this, and I'm not going to share any more details just for the sake of my daughter's privacy, but it's much more involved, and it's there's just some really serious things happening as a result of what she's been through, which has really shut me down. Again, not the best way to respond to this when something like this happens. Obviously, the best way to respond to that is start taking care of yourself, so you're strong mentally and physically to take care of the family, and that's absolutely true. I believe that. I just haven't done it. So I got to a point recently, and this is just in the last week or so, that I said, you know what, I have to do something else, because I'm just losing it. I'm just falling apart here. And so I decided that I needed to get myself back in gear. And I figured, how am I going to do this? We do challenges in our groups, and what's the best way for me to kind of get back after this? And after giving it some thought, I decided that I wanted to bring back something that we haven't done in about 2 years, which is the 75 Hard Challenge. A lot of you that have been part of this community have seen me talk about it in the past, or if not, you're probably familiar with it. It was started by Andy Frisella, who owns First Form Supplements. He put it out there as a free challenge, a couple years ago, and just threw it out there, and it became like this internet sensation. Tons of people were doing it. I knew a lot of people that went through it, and I actually knew a lot more people that failed it, including myself. I've done it a few times and have not been able to make it through for a couple different reasons, one of which was a surgery to remove a tumor in my arm, so that put a damper on things. But anyway, I decided that, what better way for me to really turn around my own life than to do something as difficult as this. So if you're not familiar with what this 75 Hard is, it's a 75-day challenge, so it's about 2.5 months, and you have 5 things to do every day. That's it. So number 1 is you stick to a healthy diet with no cheats, no alcohol. And kind of the cool thing about this is there's no set diet. It doesn't have to be anything in particular. For some guys that have done this challenge with us before, they've just said, listen, I'm going to not have any more soda, and I'm not going to have any more bread. And that was it. And for them, that was a huge win because their diet had consisted a lot of those things. So their job for the 75 days, their number 1 task was not to have those things. So if they did and they had a soda at any point, they failed the challenge and they started over. That's kind of the idea behind it. Number 2 is you have to do 2 workouts a day. 1 has to be outside. I think the idea here is to just push you outside your comfort zone, especially we've been doing these challenges in the past and right now in the winter months, so it's a little more miserable to get outside, and I think that's the idea behind you got to get outside. And it can be a walk, it could be a hike, it could be whatever. For me, it's going to be pickleball, but the other one should be a workout itself. The workouts have to be 45 minutes in length at least, so you can incorporate all kinds of stuff, stretching, mobility, yoga, whatever, but you have to split them up, and it really comes down to time management because so many of us have used the excuse, I just don't have enough time to work out. And this forces you not only to find time for 1 workout, but for 2. For me, it's not that big of a deal. Honestly, I work from home, but for a lot of guys who work a 9 to 5 or even longer or two jobs, it's no joke. I mean, you have to really plan and you have to be super committed to this. But I'll tell you, it works. And the idea is not to beat the shit out of your body and just like destroy your body with exercise. That's not what it's about, and I don't condone that at all. It's about, let's do 1 good solid workout a day, and then use the other 45 minutes for something that's going to help your body in its longevity, some kind of movement-based, whether it's you're on the ground with doing slow yoga, whether you're doing mobility drills, could be just for a nice long walk. So it's not about just pounding your body. Third one is drinking a gallon of water a day, self-explanatory. This one is actually, out of all 5 of these things, this is my least favorite by far. So I drink some water, but a gallon of water for me is a massive amount, and I have seriously like the world's smallest bladder, and I pee like 50 times a day without drinking much water. So when I start drinking more water, it's just a nightmare. I'm literally in the bathroom every 15 to 20 minutes, and it just freaking hate it. So for most people that are a little more normal, it'll take some time to adjust, because it is frustrating when you can't sleep at night because you keep getting up to pee. But after your body gets used to drinking so much water, you should be fine. Last 2 are pretty easy. You have to read at least 10 pages a day of nonfiction. I love this because very few of us are even reading books anymore. And second of all, if we are, it's some garbage. So this is, forcing you to read something that is going to help you learn something. So nonfiction, I love it. Piece of cake for me. And lastly, and actually this is the one that tripped me up the last time I tried this challenge. I think it was day 17. I forgot this last step. I woke up the next morning and said, fuck, and I had to start over. And that was just take a progress photo. So get up in the morning, take your shirt off, snap a photo. You don't have to share it, you just save it, but the idea is to just take a progress photo every single day. Easy to forget, which is why I forgot. So those 5 things every single day, miss any one of them on any given day, even on day 74, you start over. And, honestly, I would say the majority of guys that get a good way into this and miss something do one of 2 things. 1, they say fuck it and keep going. Number 2, they quit because they don't want to start over. And I get it. That's the beauty behind this challenge. And it's not for everybody. It's going to be tough for me just like anybody else. But I put myself out there in the group. I shared some things about my personal life, what I've been going through and how much I needed this. And then I put it out to the group and I said, all right, guys, who needs a change? Who wants a change and needs something like I need something, right? Because a lot of us, we're going through different stuff. You may not have the type of stress that I'm going through, but you might have different type of stress. You might be struggling in your marriage, your job, with finances, whatever it is. And you need something to really shake things up. And I've had a few conversations in the last couple of days with guys who they really need something like this that's just going to slap them in the face, wake them up, and force them into massive action. And so, this is a challenge that's offered online. You could certainly do it for free on your own or your own group or whatever. A lot of people do that. What I do is I take my coaching, so obviously you guys know I'm a fitness coach, and asterisk a recent pickleball coach. I just got my certification to teach pickleball for anybody that knows that sport. It's exploding, and it's just something that I absolutely love to do. I play like a lot. But anyway, I decided to use my coaching, use the groups, use the guys that are engaged in the groups, and created a private challenge. So not only are we doing the 75 hard, we're doing it inside of a private group where I'm helping the guys stay accountable. We're going to do a lot of stuff to help guys stay in this. So if you're on your own, it's fucking hard to do this because if no one cares what you're doing, it's extremely difficult. So it's really hard to stick with even in a group. But on your own, it's tough. I mean, I've seen and talked to many people. It's very, very tough. So I want to make it a little bit easier, a little greater chance for success for each guy. So we've got a group set up. We've got an accountability sheet where we're going to be logging our 5 tasks every day. We're going to have a designated accountability partner that you'll be actually responsible for, and vice versa. And then I put together this handy-dandy guide that's going to give you all the workouts that you need, strength, conditioning, all kinds of stuff that will help you get through this challenge, make it fun, and a couple of other guides on nutrition and working out outside, videos. We're going to be doing Zoom calls every other week to go over questions to keep guys, honest, and I'll tell you, it's not something that we've done a ton of, but I know there are some other groups, some other dad groups that have a massive success based on the real interaction of live calls, and so we'll be doing that. So if I can remember correctly, the last time we did this thing, and this was almost 2 years ago, the guy that won the challenge, his name was Steve, he destroyed this challenge, made a huge transformation. You probably have seen it on social. I started posting his stuff again recently. Obviously, looking at his pictures, you see the before and after, it's crazy. But just what he's said, what he's posted, we've talked about the changes that he's made in his life because of that, what it's done to change his life and him as a father, that's where the real value is. And so, it's just like, it's crazy what happens when someone just commits to this thing, gets after it, and doesn't quit. Because we got 5 really good habits going every day. 2.5 months in the grand scheme of things isn't that long. I mean, it's really not. I mean, when you're going through it, it seems like an eternity. It sucks. You don't want to do it some days. But because not only are you accountable to your brothers in the group, but if you miss anything, you're starting over, and you definitely don't want to do that. It keeps you in the game. And that's what it's all about. It's about establishing consistency because you guys know this. That's where the results come from, right? It's not about crushing it for a very, very short time. It's about playing the long game and thinking long term. And this is a catalyst to a much longer term approach to health and fitness. Are you going to be doing these 5 things every single day for the rest of your life? Most of you will not. I probably will not. But in the short term, it's just going to really wake you up to the things that you're not doing that are hurting your health and your fitness. And so, I think guys, I would say average between 15 and 25 pounds or so, somewhere in there, they lost, which is a good amount of weight. I think a couple guys lost a little bit more. But again, it's not about weight loss, and this is actually not a weight loss challenge. It's a mental toughness challenge. When you do these things, weight loss is a byproduct of all these things that you have to do every single day. Weight loss will come, muscle gain will come, strength will come, your improved energy and sleep will come, more sex drive will come, higher testosterone. All those things will happen as a byproduct, but it's really about staying strong mentally when you want to quit, especially over the holidays. We're actually starting right after the holidays. We're starting on January 2nd, but a lot of guys are motivated to start the new year. I know that's obviously a big thing this time of year. I personally, I don't really care about resolutions too much. It just so happens that my body has said, like, listen, this is enough. You need to stop fucking eating Pop-Tarts and get your shit together before you have a fucking heart attack, because some days I feel like that's not too far away based on not only the stress levels in my life, but just my diet and then the sheer volume of caffeine that I drink, because that's the only thing that's keeping me alert and awake. I just don't usually feel like doing a whole lot of anything. So I'm pounding C4s. I've got the C4 powder. I've got the C4 cans. I've got Monster energy drinks, which I gave up years ago. Started drinking those again. So I'm drinking just a lot of caffeine, and just my body was like, enough is enough. So anyway, it just so happens it happens right around the new year. So this isn't really a resolution type challenge. It's just, let's get our fucking shit together, especially for me. And again, this started from a selfish reason. I need this, and I know that a lot of other guys need it too, which is why I opened it up. I'm sure I could do this by myself. I could probably get a buddy or two to do it with me, but why not try to help 10, 15, 20, 30 guys at the same time? Because I'm going through it. I'm doing all this shit. I know how to help other guys do this too and stay engaged. So that's what we've done. So yeah, that's where we're at. So I am going to invite you to join the challenge too. So we start January 2nd. Let me see here. What is the website? So the link's going to just be fitdadnation.com/75hard. That's where you can find more information about this. fitdadnation.com/75hard. I'll put the link in the description here on this episode. But guys, seriously, if you need a change, if you're just struggling and you just can't seem to get consistent, you can't seem to stick with anything for more than a very short time, and you really don't know what you're doing, this will provide structure and it will provide accountability. So I've got everything structured for you. If you choose to use it, you're free to do your own stuff too. This is pretty flexible, but I like to take some of the guesswork out of it and make sure that everybody has something set that they can be doing. And then it's the accountability piece is really the huge piece, is staying in the groups, posting your photos, posting your measurements, just putting yourself out there. It's uncomfortable, sure, absolutely. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to put their fat ass picture up in a private group. I mean, granted, it's private and there's only other guys seeing it, but when you're 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds overweight and you feel like a fat slob, yeah, you don't want to share that with anybody. I get it. I feel like a piece of crap right now myself, but it really puts you out there and forces you to, you know what? I got to fucking do this. I have to do this. And that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm going to put it out there, guys. Take a look at it. Go to fitdadnation.com/75hard. Just look at it's just one page of kind of what this is about. The bullet points, some testimonials of guys that have gone through it, what they had to say, some before and after photos, that kind of stuff. Just the real stuff, it's all legit. It's a really good challenge. We've done many, many challenges. This is probably the hardest one we're ever going to do. But if you can really stick with it, you're committed to making something happen, and just give it your all, I'm telling you, you will see some tremendous results, physical, mental. You're just going to be able to see such a difference in your overall life. And that's what it's about, right? About being a better dad, about being a better husband, right? Feeling better, looking better, having more confidence, right? All those things critical. So, yeah, that's it, guys. Again, appreciate you listening. So I know I've been off. Some of you may have given up on me, and you probably aren't listening to this right now. But for those of you that have not given up on me, I am still here. I am not quitting the podcast. I really needed this break, really a mental break. So, yeah, hopefully I will see you in the challenge. Again, fitdadnation.com/75hard. Talk soon.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, if you want more information, check out the Fit Dad Basecamp group on Facebook. And don't forget to stop by fitdadnation.com. Until next time, keep kicking ass and taking the next step. You can do this, Dad.